Everybody is looking for that one thing, the one thing they can do to lose weight. Everything they are doing is absolutely perfect. It is just that one thing that they are overlooking that is
sabotaging everything.
And that is the reason why they cannot lose weight. Well, you've clicked on this video and I'm here to tell you that it's not just one thing. It's never just one thing. When in life is it ever down to one thing? No, it is in fact down to 8. Today I'm going to share with you 8 things that I do now that I am no longer fat. Yep, I said it. I used the word fat. It is a descriptive word. It's okay, you'll be fine. Here on this channel, we are about affecting actual change, giving you actual tools to create the body and the set of behaviors that you've been fighting for. Well, fight's a bit of a strong word. I mean, it's not really a fight at all, is it? Unless crying into your Google search, smashing out how to lose weight for the 9th billionth time over this past decade constitutes as a fight. Anyway, we look at solutions here, even when those solutions might hurt your feelings because we use factual, clinically recognized terms such as fat and obese. So let me share with you what I, a formerly overweight, miserable, yo-yo dieting binger, did to lose 25 kilos and keep it off. It's 6 years later. Are you gonna stick around and find out what I did? Or will that interrupt your rage and frustration at not being able to find a solution? This video is sponsored by me and my signature coaching program, Macros and Mindset Mentorship, where I coach my clients on nutrition, exercise, emotional resilience, and actually align our behaviors with our goals to get the bodies we want. You're still here, awesome! Welcome, I'm Sifi, I'm a personal trainer and nutrition coach. I work with women just like you to lose weight and build muscle and stop emotionally eating. My clients get physically and mentally stronger, finally ditch the silly notion that food is bad, and they end up being able to eat more food than they ever thought they could, still lose weight, and actually start living their lives rather than dieting it away. I am very passionate about this. I just recently posted a video sharing how I actually lost 25 kilos after my pregnancy. I'll leave a link in the description box below. It seemed to go down a treat with about 5 of you who actually recognized that I had a video up on YouTube. So I thought I would elaborate and share with you some of the habits that I built out that not only got the weight off, but kept the weight off too. And as always, a little disclaimer for the floating snowflakes that literally find reasons to become upset on the internet. This channel is not an all-inclusive channel. I am here for viewers who want to lose weight, reduce their body fat, and learn how to eat healthily and make positive changes to their life by increasing their metabolism so they can eat more food, increase their energy, reduce self-sabotage, and making changes that they, as grown-ass adults, choose to make and want the support and guidance of a professional to do this safely and effectively. If you hate the idea of dieting, and if words like fat, thin, healthy, and fit trigger you, get out. You will only be disappointed. I am saving you the trouble.
You're welcome.
Let's kick things off with food. Tip number 1, I stopped trying to intuitively eat. I know there are hordes of body positive, health at every size. I'm triggered by exercise personal trainers and anti-diet nutritionists out there, and they just love intuitive eating. I hate it. And honestly, every time I eat intuitively rather than intelligently, I naturally forget that healthy fats even exist. I am all the carbs, baby. And I will dive headfirst into copious amounts of popcorn and pop chips, completely forgetting that other foodstuffs exist. I'm busy, I get distracted, I have a business, I own a schnauzer and a small child who at times make me. And because of this, I can become very out of sync with my hunger and satiety cues. And as much as I would love to be an enlightened one who lives atop the mountains, I'm not. I live in 2022 and it is quite frankly mental at the moment, isn't it? When I was overweight and I was binge eating and I wanted to lose weight, I used to rely really heavily upon what I thought I was doing rather than what I was actually doing. And I would often do typical things like cutting out carbohydrates, dramatically reducing calories, and trying to live purely on just clean foods. And it wasn't until I started learning more about nutrition and the science of nutrition and actually started to look at calories and macronutrients, learning how to track those, did I start losing weight easily. I have done a very polite refute to a anti-fitness influencer, Shelley Darlington, to her quite frankly bullshit video that one is a brainwashed treadmill bashing prisoner if one counts calories, where I chat much more in detail about the pros and cons of intuitive eating versus macro tracking. I'm really polite in it. I filmed it at a time before I knew that you could actually tell people on social media to f off. It's actually a very good video. I'm very proud of it. But nah, you're not gonna watch it. You haven't got time. Can't take time out of your schedule, can you? But you look like somebody who's wanting to affect some change and actually move your. I'll leave the link in the description box. I reckon you'll get a lot out of it. Tip number 2, I stopped going thirsty. I drink a big old glass of water every time that I'm hungry. Oh wait, Sifi, that's what people do who've got eating disorders. If you're feeling hungry, you should eat food. This is just promoting unhealthy relationships with food. For God's sake, eat. I know, but hear me out. Let me ask you something. When today was the last time you had a drink of water? Lest we forget that we, as adults, forget to drink water all the time.
Excuse me. I'm just gonna go and have a drink later.
Honestly, it's not a myth that thirst and slight dehydration masks itself as hunger. So I'm not saying
don't eat.
And every time you're hungry,
Only drink water, forget all food ever.
use water to eat as little as possible.
That's not what I'm saying.
I used to use those tactics when I had an eating disorder. It was a very troubling time. I wouldn't promote that. What I am saying is drink a big old glass of water before you eat food.
I should drink water. It's a mixer, Patsy. We have it with whiskey.
You may just find that you don't feel the need to hoover up your meal so damn quickly that you don't even taste it. You may even find having a drink of water might reduce your craving. When it comes to water and how much water we should drink, I think people go from one extreme to the other. We either drink nothing or we're trying to chug down a gallon a day. And you don't necessarily have to drink a gallon a day. You might be 5'2" in the dead of winter, in which case it would be greatly excessive. However, I do think leaving it to your intuition to drink water is also. So if you want to have a general idea of how much water you should be drinking, then just take this number here, multiply it by your weight in kilos, and that will give you a general ballpark of how much water you should be drinking in milliliters. And I would suggest that for every hour of exercise, you do drink an extra 500 milliliters of water. Easy, done. If you feel like you want to drink more than that, please feel free to do so. You are an adult. And do not sweat the small stuff. If you are drinking things like squashes, teas, and have liquids in your protein shakes and watery vegetables and soups, that all goes towards your water count. But not wine though. You can't have that one. Tip number 3. Speaking of wine, I don't drink alcohol, not ever, not a single drop, nor will I ever drink a single drop ever again my whole life, ever. Generally, I try not to drink my calories at all when I'm on a cut. When I'm drinking my calories, I can consume less calories from food, and then I get hungry, and I'm a bitch when I'm hungry. Now, I am planning to do a full video on alcohol and weight loss and also share with you my story with alcohol, because of course there's a story there. It's me. I'm an addict and I suffered most of my life with a binge eating disorder, had many sorts of OCDs going on growing up, so of course I've got issues with alcohol.
Why wouldn't I?
I can't drink. I, of course, used to drink.
Panic attack, panic attack, panic attack.
A lot. That aside, drinking alcohol really can hinder your weight loss and your fat loss goals. First up, the calories you're consuming from drinking booze is not just from carbohydrates, which seems to be the common thing that everybody seems to think. The calories and the alcohol you're drinking is from alcohol itself, as well as the carbohydrates that are within, unless you're drinking straight pina coladas, in which case there'll be some fats in there too. Alcohol is the one non-nutritive substance that has a calorie load to it, and it's got 7 calories per 1 gram. And that's a lot. Protein and carbs have 4 calories per 1 gram, so that's nearly double. Not only that, when we drink, it becomes a suppressant. We become far more relaxed. For example, you might be on a cut and you're going out to meet friends for dinner, and you might go in with steely resolve that you will not have the starter and you shall not have a pudding, or you may not eat the chips from the bowl because you might be on a diet and therefore having to maintain a calorie deficit and therefore maybe not being able to eat so much of these foods.
Unlucky.
You're trying to lose weight. It's temporary. Pour a glass of wine into the mix, and in that moment you are far less likely to give a single about your goals anymore, to overconsume your calories on the wine itself and on extra food that you weren't intending to eat. Has this happened to you? leave me a comment below. As for can you lose weight and still have alcohol? Yes, you absolutely can. Don't you worry your pretty head about it. I have clients who maintain very happy and healthy relationships with alcohol and good consumer even though they're trying to lose weight, and they manage to do so very successfully. They may just need to reduce it a little bit. And anyone's going into a diet or a lifestyle change with me, I am not about to change their life so it's completely unrecognizable. If they enjoy to drink, then I want to make sure they can still do that. If they enjoy a prolific social life, I want to be sure that they can still go out and have fun with their friends. I, on the other hand, can't drink. Tip number 4, I stopped using my family as an excuse not to hit the gym. Oh, I said it! I said the word excuse. I hate to say it, even as a person who repeatedly falls victim to my own set of life circumstances. Excuses! Anytime you use the term, I'm not trying to make excuses here, the hell you're not making an excuse. If you are not doing what you said that you were going to do, then you are excusing yourself from it.
I have a note from my tennis instructor, and my plastic surgeon doesn't want me doing any activity where balls fly at my nose.
All you give me are excuses!
It's an excuse. I train at the weekends, even if it rips me away from my gorgeous husband and my cute little baby Bubba Chuchi, and I will say from off the bat that I am very, very lucky. I have a fair and equal relationship, and when he does stuff around the house or he's beetling around with Rocco doing whatever the hell they do, I don't and he doesn't see it at all as him doing me a favor. We are a team and we co-parent. He is never doing me a favor by babysitting our mutual kid that we decided to have together. He is, in fact, just being a good dad. And honestly, straight up, if my husband's watching this, you are a banging dad. Rocco is a very lucky boy. But back to my family, I honestly don't feel the need to be there for every single waking second of the weekend. So whilst Rem and Rocco are off doing whatever the hell they're doing at the weekend, I take myself off for a whopping 60 minutes to the gym. And you know what? That might not actually be true. I wonder what they do get up to. We often can make time. It just feels uncomfortable at first. And before I make my life circumstance sound a little bit too cushy,
I am very, very comfortable.
it's not. Rem works for the film industry and he works the most bonkers hours and sometimes goes away for lots of time. And I cry. He does so less now, but he certainly did when Rocco was really tiny. So I would pay my childminder to have him for extra hours so I could fit in the gym. And if I couldn't get to the gym, you better believe I was getting my reps in at home. Tip number 5. I no longer eat my feelings. This one really is a big one in all seriousness. As much as I try and be lighthearted in my content, emotional eating is really incredibly upsetting when you're going through it and you feel like you've just got no control around food, irrespective of the severity of your habit. I just wanted to put this tip in here on the off chance that if you're new here and you didn't know, I actually do put quite a lot of content on emotional health and positive behavior change around coping with food. I am always banging on about it in Instagram, on my feed and in my stories, and I've just recently done a very comprehensive video on how to deal with cravings and how to stop emotional eating, where I give some really constructive, tried and tested and proven tips for breaking the habit of eating in a reactionary way. Whether you've been restricting too much or you've been punishing yourself every time you eat, or if you feel like you've eaten what you've determined to be too much, you'll just go straight back to overly restricting your calories, or you just can't seem to stick to one portion of anything nice and sweet and that you actually genuinely enjoy. However you look at it, eating your feelings is something that becomes rehearsed and ingrained over time, and it is so much easier to fix than you realize. Honestly, the process is far more simple than you can imagine. An enormous element of what I work on with my clients who've been failing diet after diet after diet due to the fact that they actually end up binge eating. I suggest that you really stop and help yourself here. Stop scrolling. I'll put the link in the description below, or there's a card here. Go check the video out. Tip number 6. I no longer snack. I cannot tell you how much it
Infuriates me
when people reach out with all the content that I do asking for snack ideas. Having a lack of snack ideas is not what's keeping you stuck. Have you got any protein-rich snack ideas? Why, yes I do. I've got lots of them. All in my clients' member areas, and they're all pre-tracked into myfitnesspal for you. And no, you can't have them unless you're looking for a coach, in which case, my husband's gonna laugh so hard at this and be like, hell you don't snack. He isn't wrong. I love me a snack. However, when I am dieting or I am dealing with life's bullshit, I want to spend as little time as possible thinking about food and concerning myself with the decision fatigue that comes with planning what's next going to go down my neck. When you stop snacking and you simply start eating bigger meals, you spend so much less time thinking about what you can next stuff in your face. Also, when you're dieting, you are slightly reducing the amount of calories that you need to be consuming in order to maintain a deficit. I find that if I have larger meals, I don't need so much in the way of snacks to see me through. What you can find is if you're overly reliant upon snacking and only snacking, you're always in a place of eating enough just to take the edge off of hunger, but never actually eating enough to feel fully satiated. So therefore you then end up reaching for more snacks and then end up actually over consuming your calories without feeling very satisfied at all, or even recognizing it as overeating because you've not eaten that much. And I promise you, if you can trust yourself to eat slightly larger meals just by taking the calories that you would have from your snacks and putting them into your meals, you will feel way less likely called to snack so much. By all means, if you need an afternoon snack or you want a sweet treat or you need an afternoon pick-me-up, go ahead and have that snack if it's going to help you be compliant with the process of meeting your goals. As I say, it's not that I don't ever snack, I just tend not to snack when I'm dieting or I'm really busy. And I'll also stop it if I find myself becoming overly dependent on a snacking habit. Like, it's very easy for me to start snacking in the evening on popcorn because it's the evening and there's popcorn there. Tip number 7, I don't fall asleep on the sofa, not ever. He just wanted to say hello. Need a little woofy schnauzer. Oh, you good boy. When I'm tired or I get the first hint of starting to feel sleepy, that's it, I am up and my bedtime routine commences. Sleep is so important. I cannot even be asked to talk to you about the importance of it for weight loss. Think of it for your general life. If you don't think sleep is very important and it's not relevant to your weight loss goals, then try going one day without food and then one day without sleep and see how you fare up. Without food, you might be hungry and ratty, whereas if you lose an evening of sleep, you will be right out your mind the next day. There is just too much research to suggest that sleep, health, and longevity are directly correlated. Now, I do not get my 8 hours a night. My body is too stubborn to take it, even though I try. I'm actually tracking my sleep at the moment with this Oura ring, but it keeps on taunting me with night after night, telling me that I'm getting 7 hours and 58 minutes, 7 hours and 45 minutes.
Never 8 hours.
It's a lead a horse to water situation. You can't make me sleep, but what I do know is I can give myself opportunity to be able to get 8 hours. And I do that by making sure I've got a set bedtime and wake up routine, which brings me on really nicely to tip number 8. I no longer wing it. I am a creature of routine. I keep a routine which also factors in what days I'm going to exercise, what evening dinners we're going to have as a family, bedtime and morning routines, and also I'm fairly routine with what and when I'm going to eat.
God, it makes you sound like I'm so boring.
I am not boring, I'm just structured, okay? So food-wise, when I am dieting, I track my macros as I've said before. The day before I eat it, I will map out loosely what I'm gonna have that day. That way, I don't have to think about it and I'm already prepared. And being prepared is key, and you know it's true. Put your hands up or leave me a comment below. Have failed a diet on your day 2 because you weren't prepared. You either left eating for too long, or you didn't get the food in that you needed, or you didn't know what you wanted to eat, what you thought you should be eating, and the fridge is empty, and therefore you've had no choice but to. I make sure that I like everything I'm eating, but I don't feel the need to make it overly complicated. I also don't need to make every time I eat God's gift to the gastric juices.
The sauce is very rich. Truffles, anchovies, Grand Marnier, bacon, and the cream.
I keep my dinners, which are my favorite meal, and the time of day where I'm not just looking at feeding myself, a bit more exciting and a bit more varied and a bit more diverse. Always plug this into myfitnesspal first, that way I can accommodate everything else around it. Dinners I will always write on the command center at home on like a Sunday or a Monday. Basically, the command center at home is a whiteboard in the most central focused area of my house, which everybody ignores. I don't even think they know it's there.
What time did you say we're going swimming?
If if you think that mapping things out is boring, can I ask you how well flying by the seat of your pants is going for you?
Lost all contact.
Or if you think eating a couple repeat breakfasts or lunch sounds really
Bland, boring, and repetitive.
ask yourself how varied your food is generally day to day anyway. Most people don't really tend to vary up between 12 to 15 foods. If you give yourself a bit more structure, you got scope to expand. And as for exercise, I am very hard-nosed with this, as is my husband. Irrespective of how I feel, how we feel, we get our reps in. And you better believe that we are not interested in pandering to each other's
Emotional state.
when we say, hey,
Puny God.
go work out. And that's it for this week's video. Next video, I'm going to be doing a bit more of a comprehensive, serious video where I'm going to talk to you about reverse dieting, which will be perfect for you if you find that you are dieting, feel like you're exercising all the time, but nothing is coming off. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification to be alerted of that. Hit the thumbs up or thumbs down, I don't really care at this point. Leave me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Do any of these tips resonate? Are they
Useful.
If I get a whopping 100 views on this, I might do a follow-up sharing more tips. And until next time, stay fit, stay well, stay healthy, and
Subscribe!
Thank you.
bye!